everyone. This is the Jose Show. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday. It is almost the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and I am pretty excited. So, anywho, we have a lot of good stories to talk about, so now let's get started. Now, let's start off with George Lopez. George Lopez is returning to television, and apparently, this time he's starring in a multi camera comedy called Lopez vs. Lopez with his daughter Mayan Lopez on NBC. The series follows a working class family and is all about dysfunction, reconnection, and all the pain and joy in between. Lopez vs. Lopez, created by the Connors' Bruce Halford and Debbie Wolfe, also stars Selenis Leyva, Bryce Gonzalez, Matt Shively, Lacey Mosley, and Karan Deol. And this isn't Bruce's first time working with George. He also co-created the ABC sitcom George Lopez, which aired for 6 seasons from 2002 to 2007, and starred Lopez, Constance Marie, Luis Armand Garcia, Maciela Lucia, and Belita Moreno. It took home an Emmy Award for Outstanding Art Direction for a multi-camera series in 2005. The Lopez duo previously starred together in the 2009 George Lopez-led film Mr. Troop Mom, starring Jane Lynch. Now, on May 11th, which happened to be yesterday, Mayan took to Instagram to share the news, adding that the show was inspired by her own life, and she got to say this: "When you make your biggest pain into art and your dream is coming true." And then she also got to say, "No words do my gratitude justice. To everyone involved in my project and life up to this point, thank you. You're my home. Now Universal and NBC." All right. So this is pretty amazing that George Lopez is returning to television and that his daughter is going to also be in a sitcom with him. I feel like it's really cool when a family works together, especially whenever they get to get along with each other and whenever they get to be starring in a sitcom together, especially because, a lot of people would love to see George Lopez work with his daughter, because I can imagine that the both of them are going to make such great chemistry together, and the both of them are going to be hilarious together, and the both of them are going to be, giving out a bunch of hilarious jokes and stunts together in that sitcom, you know especially because George Lopez is himself, he is super hilarious with all of the stuff that he has done. I completely remember when I watched the George Lopez show back when I was a kid, and I definitely enjoyed George Lopez big time in that show, because not only did he show how much of a hilarious man he was with all of the stunts that he did and all of the jokes that he said, but also he showed how much of a good father he was in that show and how dedicating he was in that show to his kids. Because of how much he got along with his son and how much he got along with his daughter, and also how much he got along with his wife as well, even though his wife was sometimes in disagreements with him, but it was normal. And I really do miss that show so much. And it really gave a really good example of what a family life should be and how a family life could be as well. So, anywho, congrats to Mayan Lopez, though, for making this huge, huge breakout as a star being in a sitcom, especially with her own father. Now, I really think that this show is going to last, and I think it's going to end up being a hit. Because, who wouldn't want to see George Lopez back on television? And who wouldn't want to see his daughter work with him? And also, the fact that this show is going to be on NBC is already coming to show that there is more inclusivity and there's more diversity in the network now that we're bringing in Hispanic people into the network, because we haven't seen that much diversity in television these days, unfortunately, especially on NBC. And with bringing in George Lopez and with bringing in his daughter, that is already giving that diversity and that inclusivity, and it's already giving a really good example to a lot of people of color, especially the Latino community, that they can do it and they can actually make it in television, especially in a sitcom like in a TV network like NBC. So that to me is very dope in my personal opinion, and I feel like because of this, a lot of Latinos out there are definitely going to feel motivated enough to actually have a sitcom of their own on NBC. you know, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to end up happening. I mean, it's not only just going to give them an example of that they can do it, but also it's going to motivate them. And then sooner or later, we're going to see a lot of other Latinos out there make it into NBC. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to end up happening. So, anywho, congrats to George Lopez and congrats to Mayan Lopez on being on an NBC sitcom really soon. All right. So now from that to now more hot tea, that's for sure. All right, so now let's talk about Miranda Lambert. All right, so Miranda Lambert makes rare comment about her divorce from Blake Shelton. All right, so Miranda Lambert reflected on her high-profile divorce from Blake Shelton in a new interview with CBS News, telling the outlet she has a very specific way of handling the rumors. Now, 7 years after she and fellow country star Blake Shelton called it quits, the 38-year-old reflected on the tabloid frenzy that surrounded their high-profile divorce. She got to say this: "I wasn't prepared for that. I don't think anybody is, and it's not nice sometimes, but I think you got to take it with a grain of salt." End quote. Now, luckily, the acting up singer has her music as a way of cutting through the gossip and getting her side of the story out there to her fans. And she got to say this: "I'm a singer-songwriter, so luckily I can tell my whole truth. I will not lie in my music." Now, Miranda and Blake began dating in 2006 and tied the knot at the Dawn Strange Ranch in Bourne, Texas in 2011. In July 2015, the former couple announced that they were divorcing after 4 years of marriage amid rumors of infidelity that were never confirmed. Okay, so, anywho, as we all know now, Blake is now married to Gwen Stefani, and now they got to now they're sharing a life together, and also the both of them have been judges on The Voice together several times, as we all know. So, anywho, now this is what I personally think. I personally feel like, yes, it is really tough having to go through a divorce, and it is very saddening. And no, I have never gone through that situation, but I can already tell though. And also, if there was really infidelity going on in the marriage and Miranda Lambert was experiencing that awful situation, then Miranda, she has all her right to divorce from Blake Shelton. And I feel like Miranda Lambert really was also tough enough to be like, you know what, I am not going to be staying with this man anymore since I feel like there was infidelity going on. I'm going to move on from this man and I'm going to just live my life on my own. I am not going to kiss up to him anymore. This is ridiculous, She's a very tough woman for doing that, in my opinion. Now, I feel like Blake Shelton, he is a very talented country star and he is a very nice man. I can definitely tell, but you never know what goes on behind the scenes. You never know what goes on behind the doors. Different things can happen that we don't know. That's all I have to say. So, anywho, I really feel so bad for poor Miranda Lambert that she had to go through this situation, and I really hope that Miranda Lambert is, living her life right now. I really hope she is focused on other things now because when it comes to a divorce being so tough, it could last not just a year, but it could last several years to actually process because of how tough it is. So we also have to remember that. We really do. So, anywho, Blake is now in his separate path, and Miranda Lambert is now in her separate path, and that's how we should look at it now. And, it is what it is at the end of the day. And all I have to say is infidelity is not the answer to anything. Infidelity is awful and it should never happen, especially when you are married to someone, especially to someone that really loves you a lot and that really expects to have a life with you and that wants to even have children with you and all that other stuff. So that is all I have to say. All right, so now from Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert to now more hot tea. All right, so now let's talk about, Kendall Jenner and Scott Disick's explosive fight. Alright, so ever since the first teaser dropped for the Kardashians in March, we've been bracing ourselves for a blow-up between Kendall and Scott. Now, on today's episode, we found out what exactly caused the unexpected falling out between the typically close pair. Now, while Scott, who was feeling left out following Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's engagement and confronted Kardashian-Jenner matriarch Kris Jenner about his invitation status for Thanksgiving dinner, he also called out Kendall for not inviting him to her birthday celebration. Now, this is what was being said. "I didn't really invite anyone to my birthday," the supermodel responded. "It was empty." Now, as Scott pressed that everybody came, Kendall doubled down, noting that neither Kris nor sister Kourtney attended the bash. However, as Scott clarified that he was talking about her intimate birthday dinner, not her formal birthday party at a club, Kendall realized her error. Now, literally only Kourtney and Travis came, she responded. That wasn't a party. Alright, so then Scott was still hurt and he got to say this. "Never in a million years would Kendall not invite me to a birthday dinner." Now, while Kris tried to defend that it wasn't a birthday dinner, Kendall owned up to the fact that the meal was in fact to celebrate her birthday. In turn, Scott asked point blank, "So, why wasn't I invited to that?" Well, according to Kendall, the dinner was just for her friends plus Kris, Kourtney, and Travis. And then he went on and then he said this. "You invited everybody but me." So, just because Kourt was going to be there, Kendall responded. And then she also got to say, "It was very intimate." Okay, so this is pretty huge. This is a pretty interesting conflict. I think that Kendall has her right to invite whoever the heck she wants to invite to her birthday bash. Okay, let's be real here. You know, if Kendall did not want to invite Scott Disick, then it could be for reasons, especially because, a lot of drama goes on within the Kardashians, especially the drama that both Kendall and Scott went through recently, about many other things from the past that I really do not want to get into detail right now. And it's because of that I'm pretty sure Kendall was all like, "You know what, I really do not want to have anything to do with you right now. I really just want to put you aside and I just want to invite the people that are very, very close to me and that have never really given me so much drama, like, the people that she invited." So I think that this is what it is all about in this situation. Now, I personally think that Kendall, she was also just trying to live her life. She was just trying to live the best moment of her life, especially because it is her birthday, So, Scott Disick really, really needs to give Kendall a break. She really does. He needs to give her a break, especially because it's her birthday celebration. So, and this is unfortunately what happens a lot, not just with the Kardashians, but it also happens a lot with many other people, where, they say they invite certain people, but they don't invite everyone, let's look at it the other way too. It could be kind of understandable too where Scott Disick is coming from, that Scott Disick did felt left out about the fact that he did not get an invitation to the birthday celebration. But at the same time, we have to be understandable. But also, yes, there could be moments where you are like, "Oh my God, well, maybe this person did not invite me because this person thinks that I'm horrible, or because this person thinks that I did something bad, or because this person thinks that I am a traitor, or because this person was told something bad about me." or etc., that it could also be in the concern of Scott Disick, which is the reason to why he ended up questioning so much as to why he was not invited to the birthday celebration. So we also have to look at it at that point of view as well. So let's remember that. Now, another thing that I think is Scott Disick, since he feels like he's already really close to the family, especially to Kendall Jenner, he was like, well, you know what? If I'm really close, then why didn't I get an invite? Or if I really am special to the Kardashians, then why didn't I get an invite? Like he already feels like he's in that position already that he's like, okay, well, I should be invited to all of the events already because I'm already close to the family. So that's another thing that it could be as well. But like I said, Kendall only wanted to invite certain people, and I think those certain people to her were very, very close, and they were way, way closer to her than Scott Disick is himself to her. I think that's what the case is in this whole entire situation. So, anywho, Kendall Jenner, you do you. You only focus on the people that you want to interact with and you want to invite to into your celebrations, and just leave the drama aside, And I feel like Scott Disick and Kendall Jenner, they need to talk this out so that way things could really get smooth at the very end, But I don't know what's really gonna happen though in this episode. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned in today's episode of the Kardashians, which is on Hulu. So stay tuned and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right. So now from that to now more hot tea. All right. So now let's talk about. Kelly Osbourne. All right, so Kelly Osbourne is pregnant with first child. All right, so the 37-year-old singer took to Instagram to deliver the news with a couple of photos showing her holding a sonogram. The first picture shows a close-up look at the sonogram while she blows a kiss. The second picture is her sitting poolside and admiring the same sonogram. She captioned the post, I know that I have been very quiet these past few months, so I thought I would share with you all as to why I am over the moon to announce that I am going to be a mama. To say that I am happy does not quite cut it. I am ecstatic. Osbourne is currently dating Slipknot DJ Sid Wilson. She took to Instagram on Valentine's Day and professed her love to the musician. She captioned the post, after 23 years of friendship, I can't believe where we have ended up. You are my best friend, my soulmate, and I am so deeply in love with you, Sydney George Wilson. End quote. All right, so this is pretty amazing, and congratulations to Kelly Osbourne on the coming of her first child. I can't imagine how happy she is to becoming a mom. I can't imagine how happy she is to becoming a mom. Now, I can already imagine that Sharon Osbourne is very happy as well to becoming a grandmother, because Sharon Osbourne, she has already gone through a lot this past year, with a lot of things, especially one of them being her fired from the talk because of a ridiculous statement that she made on that show. But anywho, now it seems like now she is finally looking at the light at the other side of the tunnel here, now that she is acknowledging the fact that she is going to be a grandmother and that her daughter is going to be a mom. So anywho, I can already imagine though that Kelly Osbourne is going to be a fantastic mother and Sharon Osbourne is going to be a fantastic grandmother to this child that is coming soon, because who wouldn't want a child into this world? And also having a child into this world is a blessing by far. It is a huge blessing, so congrats. And that's all I have to say. But anywho, that is all I have to say. All right, so now from Kelly Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne and the upcoming baby to now more hot tea. So now let's talk about Chloe Bailey. Now, Chloe Bailey opens up about her love life amid rumors she's dating Gunna. Alright, so Chloe Bailey has a lot going on right now. In an interview with Allure for the magazine's Melanin Edit issues, the 23-year-old multi-hyphenate opens up about her many works in progress, including 4 on-screen roles, such as a very hush-hush series Donald Glover is directing for Amazon, and her eponymous debut solo album. Now, her busy schedule doesn't leave much for anything else, but the Treat Me singer doesn't mind because work has never been a trial for her. She tells Allure that if it feels like she knew she wanted to sing as soon as I learned to walk. And then she also got to say, I knew I loved performing. My very first dream was to be a Broadway star, she says. Now, music saved me. I was at a low moment where I felt lost, like I didn't have any sense of who I was. And she was also explaining how she sought the solace of work during the isolation of the pandemic. Her work soon evolved into the grand project that is her upcoming album, Chloe. Now, in the beginning, you can tell that the person who was singing is like a bird with broken wings. As time went on, you can hear me finding my strength and confidence, she shares. And she also got to say that I didn't want to lose that story as I pieced the songs together, end quote. Now, the singer explains that she wants to get across a message of anti-perfection because we're not all supposed to be perfect, like bad, bitch, and confident all the time. We have different layers, ebbs and flows to our lives. It would be completely unfair for me to portray myself to the world like I have no problem because I do. End quote. Now, the former grown-ish star has certainly learned about the scrutiny that comes with the territory growing up in the spotlight as the protege of Beyonce Knowles Carter alongside her younger sister Holly Bailey. Alright, so this is actually a pretty interesting topic here. I think that Chloe Bailey is a hardworking young woman, and I feel like she has already achieved so much already at the age of 23. And I feel like she is going to be doing so much more, and she is going to be a much bigger artist in the future because of how hardworking and how phenomenal she is. You know, and she's such a beautiful girl, by the way, along with her sister. And I also feel like Chloe, I believe, in my opinion, yes, she is going to find that certain someone eventually, but I feel like right now, in my opinion, and is not the perfect time for her to find that other person in her life, because if she finds another person in her life, then chances are that she is going to be too focused with that person, and she is not going to be focused on her own career. And then what happens is that when you are too focused on that certain person and you're not focused on your own career, then chances are that you are not really going to succeed as much as you've been succeeding on your own. So that's how I see this as. So I really think it's a really good idea that Chloe Bailey is not finding herself another person right now to be in her life. And especially because I feel like she's a bit too young right now to even have someone in her life. I mean, 23 years old, she can still live on her own and she can still do stuff on her own, you know, and you know, I feel like you have to be more, and I just feel like she still has the time, you know, like I said, she still has the time to find that other person in her life, you know. Her time's not up, that's for sure. So that's what I personally think also. So anywho, Chloe Bailey and Holly Bailey, I can already imagine that they are also going to be super huge in the music business. I mean, they're already huge in the music business, but I can imagine that in the near future they're going to be even bigger and they're going to be even more remembered. And I think that they are going to even, you know, give a really good example out there on what it's like to, you know, be a very good, successful duo, you know, Chloe and Holly, you know, I can already imagine, you know. So I mean, that's how I personally see things in this situation here. And, you know, I also think that, you know, a lot of guys are going to be approaching to them eventually, or maybe they're already approaching to them now, especially to Chloe, and they're going to be like, well, do you want to marry me? Do you want to date me? And I think the answer to Chloe right now is just going to be like, nah, I'm good, and not now. I'm too busy with myself. I'm too busy with my own time. Now, I can personally relate to her on this one because I myself, I myself, man, I just had an accent right now. I myself am not looking for a certain someone. I am single and I am not ready to mingle. Especially because I'm too busy with my own career right now. I'm too busy doing this show. I'm too busy doing stuff for school. And, I feel like if I find myself that certain someone right now, then chances are I'm going to be too focused on that certain someone, and I'm not going to be too focused on what I have to do for myself as a person in order to succeed. So that's how I see things as. So, anywho, that's all I have to say about this topic. But anywho, Chloe, you keep on doing you, and Holly, you keep on doing you as well. All right, so now from Chloe and Holly to now more Hottie. So now let's talk about Sophia, Grace, and Rosie. Alright, so Sophia, Grace, and Rosie performed Nicki Minaj's Super Bass 11 years later in Ellen's final appearance. Okay, so Sophia, Grace, and Rosie are making their return to the Ellen DeGeneres show and bringing that super bass with them. The cousins Sophia, Grace, and now 19, and Rosie, now 15, joined Ellen DeGeneres on Thursday's episode, and it's hard to believe now how much time has passed since their first time on the show in 2011. Now, this is what they got to say. My first memory, because I was obviously 5 years old, so I don't remember a lot, but the first thing I remember obviously was Nicki Minaj coming out, Rosie shares. At that point, I didn't know who she was, and then it clicked on, and then, oh, Sophie's singing the song, she must be Nicki Minaj, the one singing it, end quote. Now, the duo, who were 5 and 8 at the time of their first appearance in 2011, went viral after a video of them performing Minaj's super bass in pink pink tutus, my bad, and tiaras went viral. DeGeneres brought the girls on the show to perform the hit for the audience and even surprised them with Minaj herself. And then Sophia, Grace, and Rosie went on to hang out on red carpets with Drake, have tea with Taylor Swift, meet One Direction, and even write their own books. Years later, the girls still have DeGeneres to thank for their food memories. And then Sophia got to say that one of them was probably with Drake, and Grace says about her favorite memory that, cause me and my dad have always been big fans. I saw him just casually coming down the Grammys carpet when we was there, and I was like, Drake, my dad loves you so much, and we had a chat with him. He ate some of our candy, end quote. So anywho, meeting the rapper of her favorite song didn't hurt either. And then the second, probably the most cool memory, is obviously when Nicki Minaj came out, and then doors were over there, Sophia adds, and then when they opened, I literally looked in every single direction but the one that she was coming out of, and then when I finally saw her, it was just chaos, and it was great, end quote. So anywho, Rosie also got to share her favorite memory with Justin Bieber, and she recalls when he kissed her in the cheek at the Kids' Choice Awards, and then she was like, ew, a boy, he's kissing me on the cheek. And then now, so Rosie basically is saying that now she would let Justin Bieber kiss her on the cheek again. So anywho, this is actually pretty amazing, and this is actually pretty hilarious just to see how these girls are really looking back at their memories, especially as kids. And in my personal opinion, I feel like I definitely feel like it's very amazing, and it's very interesting how time flies. Because I definitely remember when Sophia Grace and Rosie were little girls and they were on Sam and Cat, and this was like 9 years ago when they were on Sam and Cat, by the way. And they were, these little girls that were, being funny and calling attention, and they were really smart girls too. They are very smart girls, they are. But when they were little, they were also smart. And now to see them grow up and to see them be mature grown women and to see that they are, having talks about their past. I mean, it really gives me a lot of nostalgia. It really does. And it just comes to show how much I'm getting old as well, because I remember when I was younger, I saw them on Sam and Cat because I was only like 16 at the time when I saw them on Sam and Cat. And now I'm 24 and now I see them as these grown women and I'm like, oh my God, well, this is actually pretty, and amazing and surprising how time flies. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So, um, anywho, the both of them, I can tell that they are succeeding in life, and I can tell that the both of them are keeping in their right steps, and they are not falling in bad steps, which is a very good thing because, unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of sensations, especially when it comes to a lot of child stars, they end up falling down the wrong path, and unfortunately, that's when things get very, very bad, and they end up getting controversial and this and that, and then unfortunately, that's when their fame goes away and they're just known as the wrong side. But good thing that this is not the case with Sophia, Grace, and Rosie. Good thing that with them, they are still doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're clean, they're not doing anything bad, and that they are also focused on their own career, especially. They're very, very focused. And, they're just trying to impress people and they're not, and impress themselves, most importantly. So that's a very good thing right there on what is going on with Sophia, Grace, and Rosie. So, anywho, I love them so much. They are awesome. And Ellen DeGeneres, she is going to be missed because I know that her show is going to be ending really soon and her final episode is going to be airing on May 26th on NBC. So for those of you that are watching, do not miss it. And it's going to be an emotional one, that's for sure. So, anywho, that is it for today's show, you guys. And I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of The Jose Show. And I will be back with more hot tea. So, please stay tuned. And please make sure you guys follow me on social media. It is highly appreciated. Till next time, peace.